current or formerly? And when was that? And do you believe that would affect your ability to be fair and impartial? And juror number, one more time, ma'am. 446 is excused. Yes, ma'am.
Juror number 398, Heather worked with the 14th office, and she is the
She's the what?
clerk of court.
The clerk of court. And,
She make a good juror. We don't talk a whole lot.
do you believe that would affect your ability to be a fair and impartial juror? All right. You'll be able to stay with us at this time. If you or any member of your immediate family or significant other is employed with, have ever been investigated by, arrested, or charged by, or prosecuted by the Colleton County Sheriff's Department, SLED, Solicitor's Office of the 14th Circuit, or the Attorney General's Office? If so, please stand. If any of you or any immediate family members of yours or significant others worked for, been investigated by, arrested by, charged by, or prosecuted by Colleton County Sheriff's Department, SLED, Solicitor's Office, or Attorney General's Office. So please stand. All right. Tell me a juror number and the basis for your standing. Yes, sir.
282. My daughter, who's involved in drugs and
Do you believe that would affect your ability to be fair and impartial in this case? All right. Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
My son was charged in Colleton County as a juvenile.
And do you believe that would affect your ability to be fair and impartial in this case? And what is your juror number?
390.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
I was investigated for armed robbery.
Say that juror number loud and clear.
432.
432. Do you believe that would affect your ability to be a fair and impartial juror? Sir? All right. Based on your experience, are you telling me you cannot be a fair and impartial juror? You're kind of mumbling. Talk louder for me.
Honestly, no.
You cannot be fair and impartial. Is that right?
Yeah.
All right. So juror number 432 is excused. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Number 403, I was in law enforcement, another officer did something he shouldn't have on the case because we were working, and I was questioned by SLED. The case was not directed towards me.
Do you believe that would affect your ability to be fair and impartial?
No.
Thank you for telling us. If any of you or any members of your immediate family or significant others have been employed by the law firm of Peters, Murdaugh, Parker, Ellsworth, Dietrich, or the Parker Law Group, if so, please stand. If any juror has been represented by Peters, Murdaugh, Parker, Ellsworth, and Dietrich, or Parker Law Group, or have been sued, or is being sued, or have ever been sued by someone working for those law groups, if so, please stand. If you've ever attended any function, events, parties, giveaways, raffles, gatherings, or any related activities sponsored by Alec Murdaugh or the law firm of Peters, Murdaugh, Parker, Ellsworth, and Dietrich, or if you have any personal or professional relationship with Mr. Murdaugh or his family or the firms, if so, please stand. if you have any religious belief or otherwise that would prevent you from determining the guilt or the innocence of the defendant based on the evidence presented in court. If so, please stand. All right. Yes, sir. And tell me the basis, your juror number, and tell me why you're standing.
249, and it's a personal belief, but I don't feel I have a right to
All right. And juror number
249.
249. All right. We'll speak further with you in a few minutes. Based on the questions asked thus far, if you know of any reason why you cannot serve as a fair and impartial juror in this case and give both the state and the defendant a fair trial, if so, please stand. All right, no one is standing. Ladies and gentlemen, there are a long list of people who may testify as witnesses in this case, so I need you to listen closely and tell me if you are familiar with any of these witnesses. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll need to know if you know any of these prospective witnesses, have had any association with them, and the like. Daniel Green from the Colleton County Sheriff's Office, Chad McDowell, Sheriff's Office, William Cody Pruitt, Sheriff's Office, Tanish Bryson Smith, Hampton County Dispatch, Angela Stallings, Colleton County Dispatcher, Dathan Varnado, Sheriff's Office, Charlie Jones, Barry McCoy, the County Fire and Rescue. From SLED, Melinda Worley, Thomas Darnell, Rachel Wynn, Paul Griffin, Madison Willis, Julia Begman, Olivia Cartwright, Rachel Noel Johnson, Christine Dadabo, Norris Lafitte, Laura Rutland from the Sheriff's Office, Jeff Croft from SLED, Katie McAllister from SLED, Claude C.B. Rowe, Roger Dale Davis, Michelle Shelley Smith, from SLED, Christian Moore, Jennifer Nates, then Belinda Rast, Maylin Haynes, Barbara Mixon, from SLED, Sarah Zapata, Tequila Kiki Wallace from SLED, Megan Fletcher from SLED, Britt Dove from SLED, Jonathan Van Houten from the U.S. Secret Service, Paul McManigal from the Charleston County Sheriff's Office, Rebecca Gregg from SLED, Bobby Bancroft from SLED, Dylan Hightower from the 14th Circuit Solicitor's Office, Dwight Falkovsky from the FBI, Brian Hudock from SLED, Tom Bevel, John Bedingfield, Nathan Tootin, Nolan Tootin, Wills Chapman, Marion Proctor, Todd Schnick from SLED, Chris Wilson, Attorney Lee Cope, Attorney Mark Tinsley, Carson Burney from the Attorney General's Office, Attorney Michael Gunn, Attorney Johnny Parker. I said Attorney Michael Gunn. Is he a lawyer?
No, sir, Your Honor.
Yeah, Michael Gunn is not a lawyer. Thank you. Jan Malinowski, Carrie Sauls, Eric Harriet, Ryan Kelly of SLED, Andrew Farmer, and Charles Long, formerly of Campton County EMS, Curtis Eddie Smith, Attorney Mark Ball, Matt Wright, SLED, Attorney Ronnie Crosby, Attorney Danny Henderson, Representative, Custodial Records Representative, Savannah Memorial Hospital, Jessica Dunovan, registered nurse at Savannah Hospital, Tommy Robertson from SLED, Kenneth Martin, DGA, what's that again? Double Gardner and Associates. Sidney Freeman, Hunter Wilson, Bailey Wilson, Anthony Russell, Sheriff's Office, Joshua Dirks, SLED, Lynn Black from SLED, Blanca Turiviate, Simpson, Kenny Hughes, Rogan Gibson, Will Loving, Bart Proctor, Randy Murdaugh, Jenny Seckinger, Annette Griswold, Peter Radowski of SLED, Alfred Johnson from JLA Investigations, David Grubbs from the Attorney General's Office, Demi Garvin from the Forensic Science Network, Kenny Kinsey, Orangeburg County Sheriff's Department, from SLED, Dave Owens, Charles Gint, Ryan O'Neill, Oswaldo Toledo from the Attorney General's Office, Jason Chapman, Sheriff's Office, Greg Cook from SLED, Courtney Adams, Jamar Albo Yaldi, Mitchell Altman, Alice Hazel, CPA, Mark Altman, ITPSB, Stephen Bechtold of SLED, Eric Bland, attorney, Matt Brown, SLED, Frank Chapman, Charles Chapman, Delilah Serencion from SLED, Timothy Collier, Senior, SLED, John Connolly, Highway Patrol, Tyrone Corbin, Varnville Fire Department, Keith Crosby from the Sheriff's Office, Gary Davis, Mary Ann Dempsey, Richard Dixon, Morgan Dowdy, the Sheriff's Office, Richard Haley, Nancy Drawdy, David Drawdy, Deputy Coroner, Donna Eason, Ashlyn Gant, Hallie Godley from SLED, and Jamie Hall from SLED, Virginia Hadwin, Scott Harriet, Richard Harvey from the Sheriff's Office, Laura Hash and Bailey Haynes from SLED, Mitchell Hazel, William Hedden, Adrienne Hefney from SLED, Gray Lafitte Henderson, Kendrell Henderson from the Hampton County Sheriff's Office, Marcus Hayward from SLED, Gertie Buddy Hill, Sheriff's Office, Tommy Hines, SLED, Jonathan Hallbrook, SLED, Chandler Horney, SLED, Jennifer Hunton, SLED, Stephen Hudson, Graham Holmes, William Hutto, Jessica James, Highway Patrol, Christy Gerald, Hannah Jefferson from SLED, Blake Jefferson from SLED, Brian Jones from SLED, Johnson. Johnson from SLED, Pat Keegan from SLED, Tommy Kennard, Tanya King, Wayne Kirby III from SLED, Richard Neese Jr., Mark Labriche from the FBI, Henry Lafitte, Rebecca Lafitte, attorney, Paul LaRosa from SLED, Stacy Lodehope from the Sheriff's Office, David Long from the Sheriff's Office, Elizabeth Lafitte Melanowski, Vera Martinez, SLED, Linda McElhaney, William McElveen, Lee McGinnis, Leanne McGinnis, Jacqueline McKay, SLED, Haley Moody, John Nelson from SLED, Haley Nelson from SLED, John Peters, William Pope from the Sheriff's Office, Captain Samuel Rigsley from SLED, Keshyap Patel, Emily Reinhardt, SLED, Dr. Ellen Reimer, MUSC pathologist, George Riox, Sheriff's Office, Major Tommy Robertson, SLED, Diana Rowe, Walter Salisbury, Anthony Sampson from SLED, Christopher Serene from the Fire and Rescue, Michael Satterfield, Jeremy Smith from SLED, Khalid Smoke from SLED, also James Talon III, Dana Temple, Philip Turner, Russell Ranelli, Dr. Luis Vega, Courtney Thomas, Khalid Smoke, Tammy Weber, Glenn Weckler, Chad Westerndorf, Samuel White from the Hampton County Sheriff's Office, Lawrence Wiggins, formerly of SLED, Matt Wild from the FBI, David Williams from SLED, Matthew Williams from the Fire and Rescue, Madison Willis from SLED, from the Savannah Memorial Hospital, various employees, including doctors William Bromberg, Caitlin Bowman, Dr. Carrie Jeter, Alice Dion, Dr. Brandon Runyon, Dr. Brenna Casey, Dr. James Mitchell, Dr. Brittany Matthews, from SLED, Lisa Chapman, Bailey Morgan, Margaret Pauley, Haley Kirushi, Jennifer Hunton, David Weaver, Al Jarvis, Lonnie Nelson from the Sheriff's Office, Christopher Anderson, Arthur Badger, Johnny Bush, James Randall Drawdy, Angel Gary, Jordan Jenks, Damian Risher, Elise Taylor Mallory, Dion Martin, Thomas Moore, Pamela Pinckney, Natasha Thomas, Buster Murdaugh, John Marvin Murdaugh, Liz Murdaugh, Kennedy Brandstetter, Terry Brandstetter, Marion Brandstetter, Russell Lafitte, Jay McGill, Joseph Dangle, Scott O'Twin, Charles Lafitte II and III, Harold Trey Matheson III, Megan Kimbrell, Terry Haynes, Kaina Traherne, Attorney Amy Bauer, Stephanie Stanley of SLED, Dr. Robert Cotton, Dr. Jonathan Eisenstadt, pathologist, Tim Palmbach, crime scene, Mike Sutton, crime scene, Kenneth Zersey, crime scene, Jim Persinga, computer forensics, Chip Johnson, computers, forensics, William Tobin, GSR, firearms and ballistics, Michael Sturgis, Cellbrite, digital evidence, Dr. Amy Baudour, Lynn Murdaugh Goetti, Dr. Donna Swartz, Maddox, Elizabeth Robinson, Kyla Robinson, and you gave me another name earlier?
Yes, Your Honor, Philip
Philip
Strother.
Strother. And those are the lists of possible witnesses in this case. If any juror knows any of them, if you have any relationship with any of them, any personal or business dealing with any of them, please stand. Yes, sir. Tell me your juror number and why you're standing. All right. And would that fact prevent you from being a fair and impartial juror should he testify? Thank you.
319, Roman Benson, come on, first
And should that affect your right to be a fair, your ability to be a fair and impartial juror should your first cousin testify? You believe you would be adversely affected, you would be biased one way or the other if your first cousin testified?
I think we will whatever he says.
Pardon?
I'll go whatever he says.
Okay. All right. Any objection to excusing number 319?
None from the state, Your Honor.
Yes, sir. We'll speak with you further in a little bit. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
257, Gary Boy, volunteer fire department. Gary Boy, Jason Chapman, Buzzfield, just no one can go out
And should they be witnesses, would that affect your ability to be fair and impartial? Thank you. Yes, sir.
282,
And should he testify, would that affect your ability to be fair and impartial? Thank you.
384, there were several people on the list that I knew also in Barry and Paul, because we worked at some projects at my school. I know Don Eason as a friend on Facebook, we did not discuss any aspects of this case. Jason Chapman, I know Crosby, I worked together when he was Nassau Road High School and I was principal. Mr. First, Eddie Smith, back in the 1990s, we saw a program athletic organization called the Walter Lottery, and he was one of my acquaintances on that.
And those acquaintances that you have mentioned, would that affect your ability to be fair and impartial?
No, sir, it will not.
All right, thank you. Yes.
255, working relationship with Michael Sessions.
And would that affect your ability to be a fair and impartial juror?
No, sir.
Thank you. I didn't ask them anything else. If you know of any other reason why you should not be selected to be on this jury, please stand. Let me know at this time if you know of any reason why you should not be selected to be on the jury. Any additional questions proposed by the state or the defense?
None from the state, Your Honor.
None from Mr. Murdaugh, Your Honor.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to, let's see. Let them go. We need to stand, and we'll speak with you a little bit in a little bit later. Jury number 258, you'll stand as I call your name, 258, 439, 403, 251, 266, 249, 255, 397. Is that 279 or 249? And that's 279. I think I called 279 and 249 and 319. When I excuse the other jurors for the day, I need to have you all remain to ask you some questions. Any other jurors should be included on the list.
Yes, Your Honor. Based on some of the responses to the questionnaire, I have a few more that we would like.
Okay, can you tell me who they are?
Number 336,
336, stand please.
number 390,
390,
number 430,
430,
and 439.
439, and additional ones from the state.
439, we had, I think, 446. I think that one was just said. I think the defense had both of mine as well.
All right, thank you. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, and those of you who may be seated, I just want you to know when the others leave, you'll need to stay for a little bit. So you may be seated. So ladies and gentlemen, except those jurors we just identified, you're qualified as jurors. We have 4 separate panels of jurors, and we have another panel I think was due here around 3 o'clock. And we'll begin speaking with in a little bit. We're going to excuse you all for the balance of the day. We need you to call after 6 p.m. to the number that was provided to you by the clerk. Is there anyone who does not have that number to call? But you have some jurors who don't have the number. How is that? The bailiffs will ensure that you have the number. We need you to call back after 6 p.m. for a message telling you what time to return. I anticipate that it'll either be late tomorrow afternoon or early Wednesday, but we'll not know for sure because we have to deal with some of the other jury panels So we need you to call back not before 6, but after 6 p.m. You're still on jury duty. Please do not discuss this case at all with anyone, fellow jurors, family members, or anyone. Please do not engage in any form of social media research or communications. And do not look at anything through the media. Remember, you're under oath, and we need you to maintain that oath, the sanctity of the oath that you've taken, and we look to see you all either late tomorrow or on Wednesday. Thank you very much. Those jurors are excused. That big boy.